So Ryu is often, described as an honest character. Is honest code for rubbish?
I think a lot of these terms that people use generally need to be defined a little bit more because there's also some differences in the way people mean things. If I say someone's cheap, that might be different to you saying someone's cheap. We might have different ideas of what cheap actually means. So honest, what are we talking about here? What do you mean by honest? Doesn't have an unblockable that takes all jab, doesn't take 200 damage. Like, what do you mean by honest?
Yeah, generally I see honest like that's people use that kind of in the similar way that they often use like fundamental, and generally like to me it means boring. Like
basic.
If someone says a character is fundamentals based, they're basically they mean that character's boring.
So yeah, so honest generally means that no one in the spoken world of Tekken or whatever respective game believes that there's a cheap element about the character. That's all that honest means. There's no area where you think that this is overpowered, that takes too much damage, this pressure is too overbearing. It's just an honest character where everything is seen as fair, and that's generally what the term means when people say, "Oh, it's an honest character," And yeah, fundamental is also a good analogy. It's basically that fundamental is more about respect, though. This is a respected character because it's a character that takes. You need good fundamentals. How many times have you heard that? You need good fundamentals to make this character excel. And it's often believed that there are many characters that don't require solid fundamentals to make effective. I mean, I don't know. I think Tekken 6 Lars would be a good example of a character where people didn't believe you needed good fundamentals to make, and that's just how the cookie crumbles on some of the cards.
Then, if that's what we mean by honest, then how can we define cheap?
Cheap is tough. Okay, I think cheap would be me getting a launch, finishing the combo, and then as you try and tech roll, I do a mid launch that hits you out of your tech roll and you can't, aka a tech catch. That is cheap.
Like one player.
If you're trying to tech roll, you're just trying to S out and do your business, and you're getting relaunched. What? You just got murked for like half your life, and you're getting relaunched. That's cheap. I think we can all agree that there's no reason why that should be going on. That's not fair game. If you've just got caught in a combo and you're just like happily ready to tech roll, you're watching all the hits, you're watching yourself bounce off midair, and you're ready to tech roll. When you tech roll, you should be free to go about your daily life. Yeah? Milk your cows, churn out some butter. Like, you should be ready to start doing your thing. Now you're in a next combo. What? A combo should be earned. A combo should be earned through psychological reads. That's what fighting games have fundamentally always been about. So getting launched for doing what the game told you is the best defensive tool to use when you're on the floor is unfair. And unfair is another word for cheap. So I would break down cheap to be a factor that's similar to that.
Would you also call cheap, or would you say cheap is the same as broken?
Nah.
If a move is broken, but
because cheap, there can be a cheap element about a character, but a character can have a cheap element but not be broken.
Yeah.
Like broken is broken is Armor King's infinite mount on Tekken Tag. That's broken. Yeah. Because if I do that, if I get it on you once, the round is over. Like you're not even gonna get to do anything. So you're effectively not gonna get to play the round. And also, it's something that you can clearly see shouldn't be in the game.
Yeah, I think broken is things that have no counterplay. Like, and those are things which don't really exist in modern fighting games. Like Akuma's air fireball in Super Turbo or things like this. Like that is impossible to play against. You cannot win with like pretty much any character against that. It's just you're just gonna die. So I don't think really. I think broken is kind of overused. I think there's lots of.
I agree.
I think there's lots of cheap.
Really overused. Broken and cheap are really overused. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of cheap.
People sometimes when people play a character or they find themselves in a new matchup that they're unfamiliar, they arrive at kind of uncharted territory in their matchup knowledge. It's like, wow, I didn't understand that this tool could be used this way, and they basically want to express that this makes them feel uncomfortable. This, I don't like this. How do I deal with this? I don't know what to do here. I need a solution. Help me with answer. And sometimes people verbalize that by using words like that's broken, that's cheap. They often they don't always mean that like this character needs to actually go from the game. It's just there's an area of the game that they don't understand and they want to know how to get around that. Eventually, people just want the knowledge, you know, and once they learn that actually you can do this and this answer, you can step that to the left, you can actually punch parry that, you can crouch that and whiff punish. Like once people actually learn the answer, things aren't as cheap or broken per se as they originally thought. Sometimes it's just a metaphor for uncharted territory, unknown waters.
True.
Help me, you know. So cry for help, basically.